From a very early age, and I mean sort of primary school age, I wanted to be a pilot. I was obsessed with aeroplanes. My dad's brother, who sadly died just after the war due to tuberculosis, was a pilot in the RAF. And he flew Catalinas. And my dad absolutely idolised his big brother and never quite got over the fact that his brother had died prematurely young. So his brother was a bit of a hero to him. And my dad was a bit of a hero to me. So to become a pilot would have been a fantastic dream for me at that age. Planes were sexy, they were cool, they were fast, they were glamorous. As I went through school into high school, I still wanted to be a pilot. I still was very keen to do that. It was glamorous. You had to be a super brain and dedicated to get into these sort of courses, to train as a naval pilot, a Top Gun, so to speak, which is probably beyond what I was capable of. Certainly my aptitude for hard work wasn't good enough. So that kind of slipped. So I ended up doing a Bachelor of Education at Moray House, which was affiliated to Edinburgh University at the time. And I did that for 2 years, and it just wasn't for me. I mean, I'd gone from being in schools all my life to going to an institution that was going to basically bring me a career that was going to be back in schools for the rest of my working life, and I couldn't do it. So I dropped out of that course. Whilst I was in Edinburgh, I worked at the Cameo cinema, so I became very interested in film. I thought that was terrific. Really, really enjoyed that. Really got into art house movies and had a great time there. I learned how to project, worked the bar, did a bit of everything, saw all these great films. There were lots of Edinburgh Film Festival people that would come along and have screenings at the Cameo, like Clint Eastwood, who brought his mate Quincy Jones along with him. So we were just like starstruck, jaw-dropping, cannot believe that Clint Eastwood's walking up to my mate and saying, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" at our place of work. I had to go back home through financial reasons, and I was back in Stirling. And whilst I was there, I was still playing rugby. And rugby had always been a sort of big thing in my life. I think I had said, my coach was a lecturer, John Drakakis, at Stirling University, and he was lecturing in English and film studies, and I'd said how I was interested in doing film, and he said, well, the course in Stirling's not for you, but there's a course down in Reading, at Reading University, called Film and Drama. So I applied, did the audition day, and was accepted. So I was thrilled. So off to Reading I went to study a degree in film and drama. So I ended up running for a local post-production place called the Edit Works in Chelsea Harbour. One of their camera assistants decided to move on to become freelance, and an opportunity arose to become a camera assistant. So I did that, and then from there I learnt on the job with various directors of photography, doing various types of TV shows and adverts and things like that, and corporates. And from there I learnt how to operate, and then I became freelance as a cameraman, and that's where I am now. So my daughter said I wanted to be a pilot, when I had my brush with flying a plane, when I had that lesson. That was terrific fun. Really enjoyed that, so that's a little tick in the box. And I played rugby at Murrayfield, and I made the Scotland reserve list at schoolboy level, so that's kind of a wee tick. And then I said, I just want to be a father. Now I've done that, and that's the best. You can read as many books as you like, but they're all different. And I remember having Hamish in the car seat, walking out the hospital, putting him in the car and going, what do we do next? I've just worked. I've worked to live, not lived to work. But you sit there and you look and you think, they're all right. And you try not to take too much credit for it, but it's been great fun.